Hello and welcome, dear friends and followers of Dentist.camera. Live with the author, episode 58. A little bit ahead of schedule, but this is not Italian style because otherwise Italian style would be 30 minutes late. So we are a little bit ahead of time because Walter and Angelo are very busy people and maybe they have some other appointments tonight. But it's a great pleasure, a great honor to meet two of my oh, I don't say oldest friends, long time friends,
So,
finally here also on on this live interview. This will be broadcasted on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. So basically, everybody out there can watch it again. And also on Facebook, I know that you have a huge community on Facebook. So everybody from Stile Italiano can watch it again later. So let's jump right into the discussion. I have prepared some questions for you. Let's start with the one that I always ask first. So, dear Walter and Angelo, tell us a little bit more about you. I know that almost everybody knows you, but for the few people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself. Walter, let's give you the first stage.
ciao Alessandro, thank you for the invitation. I'm just here in my office because I finished now to play with my patients. People they think that I'm not working much, but instead I'm doing. And actually I live and I practice in a little village on the Ligurian coast, close by Portofino. The name of the village it is Sestri Levante. I have a first office here. I have a second office in Santa Margherita, which is the door of Portofino for some special treatment. And also in that venue, we host people that are coming for learning live on patients on our shoulders, let's say. Actually, I studied in the University of Genoa, and then let's say, had the lucky moment to meet up people like Vanini, like Didier Dieci, and others that they were showing me how composite uh, can be in future a big change in our way of going. Actually, I remember that me, I don't come from any dental family, and when I asked for a job, I was employed by a fantastic man, which is my teacher, and then also he was showing me some little composite and anteriors. Then instead, me, I wanted to go even more, and it was quite forbidden at that time when I graduated in 91 to work with composites. After that, I had the opportunity to lecture in Italy first and then abroad, or I can, to be precise, be much precise, much more abroad than in Italy. So I started, let's say, traveling, and it was the fantastic experience to know better and better dentistry and dentists. And then there was the meeting with Angelo, and through that, the idea of going together into a common way, a common path, let's say. So that's it. I'm teaching also in some university in Marseille, in the UEC in Barcelona, and now, uh, thanks to Angelo, I'm a professor in the University of Ancona, in the Polytechnic University. Uh, that is all of me. I'm a member in some academies, as you know. I'm active member in the European Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry, as well in the Italian Academy of Conservative and Restorative Dentistry, and in the Italian Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry too.
Okay, so let's go and switch to Angelo. Angelo, give
Okay,
welcome, welcome, my friend. So tell us a little bit more about you.
okay. So I started some years before Walter, of course. I was one of the pioneers to work with composite in the first part of the 80s. And I entered in the university some years later in 1986. And I rested in my university where I became professor in 1999, associate, full professor in 2005, and now I'm also dean of my university. But uh, I'm not so proud to be the dean of my university in the sense that I love to be an educator because education was in my life the best thing that I did in my personal point of view. And 12 years ago, in dinner in the European Academy of Aesthetic Dentistry, where me and Walter we are active members, we launched the idea to help people to make it simple with the composite because at that time there was a very big confusion about that. So and we start with StyleItaliano, and now we are. I'm working in my office from 2 to 8:30 in the afternoon. I stay in university from 8 to 2 in the morning, and we go around all over the world for lecturing. So my life is very busy, but my job is even my hobby. So fortunately, I'm living my life. So
Okay, that's cool. So you are really the two, for me, the two Italian guys that I know for a long time, always being very stylish, very Italian, and you obviously know that I have also 50% Italian blood. So I'm not from Italy. I'm from Sardinia. So and you know that Sardinia.
probably almost 30 years ago, if you
So
remember.
Sardinia is not Italy, but and having a German mother made me a Swiss. So la testa dura sarda, with some German and Swiss character makes a person with some dedication as you are as well. So let's let's jump into the next topic. You just mentioned a little bit, Angelo, when this idea of stile italiano, this for me this also sounds completely amazing. Stile italiano, I told you before we started the live in the 90s, I had to answer these mission statements that the American speakers, they come on the stage and say, I am the greatest, I am the best, because that's why you have invited me. Then they show you, this is my wife, this is my boat, this is my car, you know. And then I had to answer this, and I was telling them, look, I'm coming from a small country called Switzerland, but Swiss quality and Italian style. So that's the combination of my work. So my mission statement 30 years ago was already Swiss quality with Italian style. So what was your idea of creating this brand? Today we can call it the brand Stile Italiano. So Angelo or maybe Walter, give us some insight. Everybody wants to know what Stile Italiano is all about.
So, as Angelo said, we met, let's say, 12 years ago, sharing some ideas. Maybe at that moment we were just some competitors on podium, and we wanted to find our way of going. And actually, we were understanding much and more that the majority of dentists, which are on the floor watching the speaker and listening the speaker, they are a bit lost because maybe in the first row, your friend, they know perfectly who you are, what you're explaining, and they want to copy you, and they want just to also um, uh, welcome you and make an applause. But in the last row, there are people that maybe they are shy and they are not really prompt to learn what you are showing at the best from a podium. So the idea was to to create some more detailed tips and tricks around using composite every day and creating passion around for such idea. we started to make some programs to share some idea about instruments, some little part in order to make people curious around. and and actually we are very proud of that because really we see now we have a big number. Somebody says that we are educating the 22% of the dentists that are in the whole world, which is really a big number that sometimes really amazes me much and more than before.
By the
Uh,
way, do you know how many dentists there are?
Yeah, I mean, the 22% of the whole number of dentists in the world, they are
No, how
following us.
many? So my question, do you know how many dentists there are in the world?
Not, no, I'm not
Okay, I
doing
tell
an
you, I
idea.
tell you, it's around about 2 million, maybe a little bit more than 2 million. But 50% of all these dentists only extract teeth.
Oh,
That's good.
So there's
good to know.
there's 1 point something million dentists left, and then you say, okay, 22% of this is then 220, 250,000 dentists that you are educating. But that's wow, that's an amazing number of colleagues out there. But it's really important to know that 1 million dentists are really only pulling out teeth because their patients cannot afford. And I'm not talking about dentists who just went to some public schools, dentists that have been educated at universities
Yeah,
and
but now
ending
you're,
up
you're touching you're touching really the point, Alessandro. I mean, those people, they are, as Angelo says always, the forgotten dentist. Somebody that in which we found and we see that when they call us, that we speak together, they contact us also through mail or socials. They are really amazed by what we do for them, and you cannot imagine how many people they say thank you for existing. So exactly this was the topic, to try our best to link around us the dentists that maybe they are forgotten. What do you think, Angelo?
No, I think that yeah, Alessandro was telling about American people in the podium. Was typical of the time to say, "If I can do it, you can do it," and nobody can. So that's the problem. We wanted at that time to change it totally the way. So if I can do it, really you can do it. You know why? Because we tried not to pass our skill to our people, but to pass the knowledge. We know very well the materials, we know very well the techniques, we know very well the literature. So that's why we try to put all together, everything together to find the solution for people and for the company too. Because the company, they produce materials for KO, and the KO they don't pay the material. That's very strange. So in our opinion, the company has to produce materials for everyone, and the rule of the KO is to explain the best way to use this material, not to explain the best use of their material, they KO, because speaking about the composite, if you work with 20 or 25 different shades, is a mess. Nobody's able to create the perfect restoration, or better, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 people all over the world. So really our goal is to make it simple.
Yeah, that's I totally agree with that. That this is the point. Everybody can make it complicated. There are also a lot of speakers on the stage that make simple things complex, telling the people at the end, you can only manage this if you come to my course. So this is the end. Make something simple complex, and at the end tell people, if you want to master this, then I have the solution for you. This is good marketing. But you also have good marketing, because I know you for a long time, and this leads me then to the next thing. So I think you have a good nose, a good feeling, why you were one of the first also focusing on social media for advertisement, for promoting yourself, for showing yourself, for creating a large community. I think you were one of the first groups really exploding. There are many large groups on social media, but many of them are not active. So I don't know if they just have fake followers or what's happening on this 400, 500, 600, 7,000, 700,000 follower accounts. I don't know. I doubt, because coming back to the numbers of dentists in the world, it cannot be possible that one account has all dentists in the world on as followers. So this is a little bit unreal to me. But coming back, what was the reason, or why did you focus on social media, and as far as I see, very successfully? So maybe Walter, give us some insights on this.
The reason it is because we wanted to speak with people. And actually, the idea was from the third genius that we have in our team, because we are a team. So immediately I have asked one of our students, which is Jordi Manauta, that I met in the University of Barcelona, to join me and to try to be the one to give to the whole population, to spread to the whole population with our ideas. And one day he told me, listen, let's open a group on Facebook. Me, I was totally far from this idea personally, because I was not on Facebook, I was not in any social, I didn't have time, I didn't even want, let's say, to be. But he was showing me the possibility really to create an organic group of people into dentistry. I mean, and actually, all numbers that we have on Facebook first, Instagram that are growing much and more, Twitter as well, they are organic. So they're just dentists that they are welcome, or they ask to join, or there are people involved into the dentistry. I can say that also one guy, which is another member of our group, Professor Luis Ardan from Beirut, he was pushing greatly the socials in order really to share all what we were creating. And really, in this part, I'm much more curious. We are much more curious. That's why now we have one managers, that Roberto Gerri, which is following our seeing what they want. I mean, they are, let's say, putting in practice what we had an idea, me and Angelo, at the first. Try to spread kind of dentistry feasible, teachable, and repeatable for everybody, and in such a way to make people much curious and enthusiasts to grow in this passion, which is and in the passion of our in our or of our profession, which is absolutely incredible for me.
Okay, Angelo, what are your thoughts? Because I can tell you an anecdote. Our oldest son told me, and this is some years ago, when his grandfather sent him a friendship request on Facebook, it was time for him to leave the platform.
You know, when I started on Facebook, I was not so young. So for me, it was very strange at the beginning. But Jordi said, Angelo, people is waiting for you. I told him, Jordi, what does it mean that people is waiting for me? Okay, enter on Facebook. I entered in Facebook. After 5 days, I had 5,000 friends, you know. So that's why I was so surprised about this. And really, I changed totally the idea about my idea about social media, because at the beginning for me was something for young people. And but what was unbelievable, the people that we knew through the social media, unbelievable dentists all over the world that only copy what we were doing, or unbelievable. So creating a copy, perfect copy, sometime better. So at the beginning, you know, people say, okay, it's not the Facebook University. It's not the Facebook University, but a lot of people in the Middle East, South America, they learn so much. I mean, when they learn it, what they can reach with their dentistry. After that, they started to study. So it was not that they learned by Facebook, but in Facebook, they saw what was possible to reach in their profession. And now, really, there is the globalization. And really, we were part of the globalization. So for this, I'm sure, because when we go outside, yesterday I was in Venice, and there was a young lady in the railway station. Lady was from Middle East, I suppose, because we were dressed in a typical way. Said, Angelo? Say, yes. So you are Angelo the dentist? Yes, I'm Angelo. I'm following you. You can't imagine. We love you. He said, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Once again, I was in Taiwan, waiting for a guy that has to pick me up for a congress, but I was waiting because he was in late. And the lady came to me and saying, Angelo, I suppose she was the lady to pick me up to the congress. Say, yes, I'm Angelo, where we can go? No, no, I'm a dentist. I love StyleItaliano. I love you. I love Walter. You can't imagine how much I learned from you. So I was really so surprised that I told you the
Yeah, yeah.
story.
But
Now,
but you mentioned one very important point that I should have also put as a question: Facebook University. So you have also a huge responsibility, because there are many, especially on Instagram, we have some freaking dentists that are showing things that are absolutely unreal Photoshop dentistry, and this is not good for the profession, because it's important you can show nice pictures as long as you share the steps in between. When you just see, okay, patient came in my office with only 5 teeth left, and then you see the final image with everything changed, not only the teeth, also the hairstyle, the nose was done, everything is new, and then I get my doubt if this is reality. So how are you dealing with this? I see that Stile Italiano tries to be, let's say, publish protocols that include all the steps, because from before and after I cannot learn. As a dentist, with before and after images, I learn nothing. This is maybe to attract new patients, but I can tell you that patients they have seen enough. So just posting before and after pictures doesn't give you new patients. So this is a trend also on social media. They have seen enough of before and after. They want to know more. They want to know more about what you are doing, how you are doing, who you are. And so what is your strategy in not becoming or not being part of the so-called Facebook University? Maybe Angelo, as the older professor, what are your thoughts on this education style that has some benefits but also some danger inside?
oh, I totally agree with you, but we never show something that is difficult. We show all cases where everything is well done, and all the steps are perfect. For us, before and after, there is only teasing for a short article that is in our website where we show our job, but not only our, but we ask to the community to post what they are doing. And we post only what is really is done in the right way. So that's why we want not to teach something to show how strong we are, because usually me and Walter, we don't publish so much. So sometimes we post some cases, but what we show is what we do every day. That's the only way to learn something, in my opinion. No, not to show difficult things that only three people all over the world are able to do it. And then people try and they create some disaster in the mouth of the patient. I think that all the people that are following us, really are following us, they are good dentists today. believe me, in the simple things or in difficult things done in a simple way. So this is our mission now: feasible, teachable, repeatable. So you cannot do disaster in this if you follow us, because really what we show and we post is the real dentistry, the everyday dentistry, and even aesthetic, because all our cases simple, but nobody can say nothing against.
Okay, Walter.
Yeah, I want to add a couple of things. First of all, we need to understand that communication, it is the basement for learning today. I mean, before when I was young, I had to buy books or to go myself to search for somebody and so on. Today, in a second, googling something, we can have whatever we want. So we need really to be attentive to that and to spread correctly what we want to do. That's why we start in dentistry in this way seriously. In our group, we are very, very demanding. We are not accepting everybody or any case. We have rules, and such a rules has to be followed. You cannot imagine many people they are complaining why they need so much time for publishing on our web on our socials. It is because really it takes time. We are involved in catching correctly what they do, understanding what they offer, and so on. It should be simpler to just welcome people and to put inside cases just in order to make much and more whatever. And what you said about the patients that are feed up in watching just before and after, I can say also dentists in general are feed up, in my opinion, in watching cases full of ego and nothing else. For such idea, we will be more and more attentive into that in order to really to create a positive critical dentist in order to really to understand what they do in a special area or in a special continent, and then to see what is possible to offer in order to do it better. There is another detail that I want to share with you. You know that we are not just me and Angelo. We are a team. We are a team. It means that we have other people involved. Many of those people they come as a member from our socials. So every year we select new members and we elevate them in a grade like silver. And we have also a couple of gold people that we found as a pearl on the web, and we ask them to join us. So communication on social is a great opportunity. Uh, Facebook University, it can be great if we all of us as an expert we lead it correctly and seriously.
Absolutely, totally agree on this. Totally agree on this. And I know that you're taking things serious. Sometimes I remember, especially in the beginning, there was a lot of jealousy around. So what are these two Italian guys? They are making business, and this was. I know that you're making business, but that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I totally agree that you are two smart guys, two clever guys, and but pushing dentistry forward, especially composite, because composite for me is still, it's not placing implants. The number one problem we are facing is caries. Number two, periodontitis, and it's not extracted tooth and placing implants. But if you look at the global situation in the conferences, it's, if you're not placing implant, you're not a dentist. So that's why I like even more the concept of pushing the basics of dentistry, the most important part of dentistry, taking care of the patients. Maybe you should focus a little bit more also on prevention, something that in many countries still is not paid. And I remember when I did many years ago, I taught half of the dermatologists in Switzerland on photography. And they were telling me, we tell you why we are not taking pictures, because we are not paid for it. And I was telling, but how can you not monitor the melanomas and all the abnormal situation on the skin of your patients just because you're not paid for. It's like a dentist would not take x-rays because he's not paid for the x-rays. This is silly. This is really crazy situation. And so these are the things that for my perspective are really important factors. So let's go to the next thing that because I watched your group a little bit. I was like not googling it, but just and I found that you are very strong in Eastern Europe and the Middle East. So basically, StyleItaliano, like many other things, it's the German market is very difficult. Uh, Many markets are very difficult to get into it, but you have a strong focus with your conferences in Sofia, in Bulgaria. This is Bulgaria, in Romania, in many other countries. So why did you start pushing a little bit more in these markets where we also have a lot of, let's say, poor dentists? Was this like the following of advocating or pushing a concept that is for the average dentist or for the dentist that cannot afford all this high-tech stuff, that this is a large community that is also supportive to your ideas? So
I mean, you love numbers, Alessandro. I can tell you that we are very homogeneous in having followers in any continent, also in the United States. Just you have to understand, and we have understood that there are some people that react more on socials, and some people that instead they are just following behind the scene, let's say, without interacting. And in this idea, really, we found an incredible number of people passionate and talented, especially in countries that we do consider poor, but they are not, especially in the idea of working ethically correctly. And I'm speaking mostly about the Eastern Europe that I know quite well, as well for the Middle East that I had the lucky to the fortune to know more and more. So those people, I'm really my hurt all the time because I know that they sometimes they can charge as in dentistry we charge in the West Europe, but they pay material and they pay for the devices as we pay that. For such a reason, they have all my respect. And I'm really open to give them more and more. Don't forget that also they don't have the access that we had in the past to some courses or activities, live congresses, academies, and so on. For such a reason, they made the communication on socials as their own way to speak with you. So big respect, and we will follow them much more. Just now, for example, we are creating a huge hub in Dubai just for welcoming better after the pandemic people that they can travel as before, as you can imagine, and it will be a fantastic area in which to meet people coming from all the Middle East, but not only, because also from the east of Europe they are traveling even less, even much easy now to Dubai, and giving them what they're asking us. Just to be very concrete also in what you says. We are, of course, we are involved as a business in this part of StyleItaliano. But I'm a Catholic. Just let me tell you that in this way, I'm thinking like in a Calvinism way. If you do something good, people they follow you, and you will be successful. In my opinion, a win-win story, it is always the point to do that. When we have created instrument, now they are the big selling, the most seller over the world because people they consider being good. So there is nothing that is coming just by casuality. Everything it's following correctly what you offer. So if you offer something good, you will receive something good. And this is what my experience personally that I have, and I think Angelo as well. from people, especially from East and Middle East.
I
Okay.
think going a little bit deeper, in my opinion, even because at the beginning of the story, for a Western country, were very easier to get and to reach unbelievable speakers, unbelievable congresses. At the beginning, when I was lecturing in the Eastern Europe or the Middle East, usually I was the only one speaker into the event. That is totally different than the way that we run in the Western Europe, no? So that's at the origin was why we get more famous probably in that area. But we were already famous in the Western country. So only having a look in the people that are coming in our facilities for the courses, at the before the pandemic, we were people from New Zealand, Australia, Greenland, Tibet. You can imagine Panama, South America, and now a lot of people is coming from UK, Belgium. So really, we spread the message all over the world. It's different the way to react, as Walter said. So in the Eastern Europe, probably there are some more poor dentists because of the money, but in the Middle East, you have a lot of rich dentists. But the message is the same. They follow us because we give them really the way to do the things, and not only to have a look in the Congress to say how strong is the speaker. We try to communicate with them and try to pass them all our messages. That's why we design a lot of instruments, a lot of things in the Swiss walk quality, because we work with Smile Line in Switzerland. But we try to offer them really the way to close the circle. Not only to you have to do this, they don't know how to do it. We suggest them everything. So from the beginning to the end. So if they like, they will follow us. That's the reason, in my opinion. We are really serious in this. In the
Yeah.
educational, we are really serious people.
No, no, I see that you have passion for what you're doing, that you're trying to push very hard with new ideas, with new concepts, being copied also. And if somebody tells me, they are copying myself, say, only good ideas are copied, not the bad ones. Only good ideas are copied. So, I always tell people I'm proud if somebody's copying myself, then I had a good idea. If my ideas are ignored, then I don't know if they are really good. So getting back to the next question in relation to all this. So I know that you have an education center close to Portofino.
Yeah.
And Walter, you told me now you're expanding, opening another education center in Dubai, or what are your plans for the future? So we have like your online activities with social media, with your blogs, because it's not easy to communicate with such a large audience physically. So I think the how many spots do you have in your hands-on facilities? So how many dentists can you teach in your facilities? So,
So thank you for the question, because this is really our focus. Education, it is our DNA for such idea. Also, when we are cooperating with companies, we are creating education. We are creating model in education. When we are creating instruments or tools, we are creating education, because we educate people in order to simplify their own life. Uh, the idea basically it is to teach them face to face here in Italy, and this is the big part of our activities in education in Italy. So we go in the winter time in Milan. Instead, in the summertime and spring, we are here in the Ligurian on the Ligurian coast, close to Portofino. Then what you are doing, as I told you, what you are planning, it is to create this new way of educate people in Dubai. Actually, we are closer to an university in order to create something official in which the attendants they can play live. So it's not just to teach them theoretically or to make a hands-on like on models, but also to have live patients to work with and to apply immediately our techniques. As well, we are creating a school here in Europe in cooperation with the university from USA in order to create an official master for people that they want to upgrade their level. Because this is, in my opinion, our lucky point. Me and mine and Angelo one. I mean, we are considered to be expert in dentists. We know what the expert people, they would love to be even much more expert, as we know what the people that are starting after the university they desire in order to grow up their own passion. For such a reason, we are dedicating our time to create always tools, educational ideas, programs with companies, material, all for the different stratification in dentistry that they're following us.
Okay, so maybe I ask Angelo with what is your experience? I see that the dental industry is also changing. So dental companies are merging, becoming bigger companies, but I see also that some companies are now maybe not not really being successful with this merge. So what being in this game, this is like a side comment maybe before we go to the last question. How do you see the development of this dental market, because you have a relation with the dental industry obviously? So what are your thoughts on the future of these developments in relation to your plans?
I know it's a long story in my side because I collaborated for many companies since the beginning that I started to work. Because in my opinion, was really important to see what they are doing. Because in the company there are no dentists, so what you obtain are materials coming from physicians, chemists, but no dentists. That's the main problem. Now, in the last 12 years, really, I think that me and Walter, we gave a lot of opportunities to many companies to have an idea how to change. And if you see what happened in the world of composite, for example, we started 12 years ago to say that 2 layers is more than enough. And after that, we start to say 1 layer is possible. And the company, they start to follow us. And now all the material that you see in the market are simplified. 2 syringes, 3 syringes, 4 syringes maximum. That's the way to go. But not all the company, they have the possibility to develop something new for many reasons. There are two different worlds, the implant world, the ortho world, and they are becoming unbelievable companies now, full of money inside, and they try to guide the dentistry in the sense that they want. But don't forget that the composite, as you told before, in my opinion, in our opinion, is the future. Because don't forget that we have millions of people that have still the caries, and probably they will finish to put implant at the end of the story. And don't forget that adhesion is changing a lot, everything, even the prostate treatment. So what about the future is a closer collaboration with the company to have products that are coming from dentists to dentists finally, and not from company to dentists, because they are not so close to what we have to do every
Yeah,
day.
yeah, because this is our older son works at Roche pharma company,
Yeah,
and they are changing. For example, they are not sending out the representative with the brochure who doesn't know anything about
the
the.
company, they want a new world without
And
the
they the
dentist.
new big companies, they're sending people to their clients that are even better than their clients. And this should also be in dentistry, that we and I totally agree with you that beside the chemists that are developing new materials, there should be more dentists involved in the dental company, and not just marketing guys that if you ask them for support for a new idea, they only ask you, how much can I get out of this idea? And if you tell, well, maybe we need 5 years to make money, then they say, then forget it. So this is, I totally agree with you that we should have more dentists involved also in the dental companies, in higher positions, to lead a little bit more the developments in the future. And this makes me, because we already have 45 minutes, time is flying, to the final question that I always ask to my guests. And having two experienced dentists here as my guests, so let's say 1 minute for each of you. What is your advice to the large young community out there? What should they do? What are the, let's say, one or two advice you would give young colleagues out there when they start with their career? What should they think of, do of? Just spontaneous ideas. Let's start with Walter, and then I see Angelo has to think a little bit.
You know, Ale, sometimes I'm sad when I see some statistics saying that more than 80% of the new graduated, they don't want to open an office, they just wanted to go and to work in another one. I mean, our profession is getting older and older, especially in the owners. I wish the young generation to really appreciate the fact that we are not just dentists, we are not just doctor, we are ethically involved in having our own profession, private profession, which means to welcome, which means not to be a toothologist, but really to be a dentist. I mean, to welcome a people, a live person that has a need, and then to solve those need to be a bit psychologist, a bit psychiatric, sometimes a bit marketologist, why not? But also keeping as a first the ethical way of going. So really, in my opinion, dentistry, it is an amazing job, absolutely. I wish all the young dentists to understand better and better this passion, also following StyleItaliano, of course.
Okay, okay, that's a
Okay,
good one. Angelo, what are your comments?
few words. One is to be passionate, because this is a wonderful job, really. And with the passion, you can go really to work for a long time, and to get and to reach unbelievable things. But please don't forget the patients. Don't do dentistry for yourself. Try to do with the patient what they need, not what they want and not what you want. Because in my opinion, that's the secret. Because what we see in the Congress is only for 10 patients per country sometimes, not per city or per, So all the patients, they need something different, in my opinion. Well done, the right way. And probably StyleItaliano is still present in the social, in the market, in the education, because really we never forgot the patient in our education.
No, that's for me great final points, and this is what I also say always. I hate these rankings. I'm one of the top 100 dentists. I'm one of the top 500 in the world. Like recently, a dentist from the UK was saying I was selected dentist of the year, and then I was saying, and so what? So what? So and this goes out not to all people watching. There's only one person who can judge your work, and this is your patient.
Absolutely.
Your patient tells you,
Correct.
he tells you, Angelo, Dr. Devoto, Dr. Putignano, you did an amazing job. I love you. I love your work. And I tell all my friends that you did a great job. This is what we are looking for. And if you and the combination of Walter said, of a little bit marketing, of a little bit being a psychologist, and don't forget to also train your hands, be what a dentist is all about, working with your hands. with the passion that Angelo put in the recipe of becoming a good dentist. So this combination makes it, but at the end, it's only the patient. And I remember when I was at a conference and we had some discussion about what I was telling people. I was saying, look, just let's finish the discussion. There are only two people judging on what I presented you right now. It's myself and my patient. And if we two agree on this case, we don't care. We don't care about your comments and what you are saying. We can discuss on a good base, and I'm ready to learn what mistakes I made. I want to improve myself, but at the end, it's always the relation of the dentist with his patient that you have to work on. So, Angelo, thank you very much for this
Thank you.
final comment of putting our patients in the center of our passion, of our love that makes us successful, makes us happy every day. So, thank you, Walter. Thank you, Angelo, for this interesting insight in Italian style, stile Italiano. So keep up your great work. I will now show a short outro. Stay here with me so that I can say goodbye to you in person. Thank you, everybody out there. Subscribe to my channel or subscribe to Stile Italiano. Let's be social on social media, because we should be more a community than just a group of egos. So I think together we are stronger. Together we can bring dentistry forward for our patients. Thanks again, Walter, and thanks again, Angelo.
Grazie.